Welcome to this episode of Conversation with our professional partners. Dale, I have a quick question for you. He's an attorney in the Raleigh, North Carolina area and wanted to know when a buyer is coming to closing, what is it that they need to make sure that they bring to closing so that they can have what's necessary to move the process along?
Okay, so typically the first thing that we tell folks to bring with them when they come to closing is their ID. Fraud is very prevalent in our industry, and ensuring that the person that is in front of you is who they say they are is vital. So typically, we like folks to come with at least two forms of ID just to be on the safe side. Bare minimum, a government issued ID, and then, some secondary form like a social security card or a passport or some other identifying document. Also, typically on the buyer side, they're the ones purchasing. If they're paying cash, then they will have either wired the funds, so they're going to be bringing, maybe not physically, but they're going to be bringing us the money. That's important. And so either it'll be, like I said, by wire or certified funds. And then the last thing, and this goes for both buyers and sellers, is sometimes we need them to bring their spouse. And sometimes folks, especially in North Carolina, because we have differing jurisdictions where, one person may be buying a property and they may not need their spouse to sign anything. Typically in North Carolina, even if one spouse is buying, if there's a loan involved, the attorney and the title company will usually want their spouse to sign on the deed of trust, especially if they're going to be titled, if the property is going to be titled as marital property.
Okay. Yep. Well, oftentimes you hear, on the buyer side, one to buy. So you're saying, in addition to that's basically just signing the offer to purchase in that sense?
Exactly. And there are exceptions to the rule where, a married person can, come to closing by themselves, but we typically tell folks, to expect for their spouse to come unless they specifically have requested and had it approved in advance that their spouse is not going to be signing anything at the purchase of their property.
Okay. That's interesting. Or maybe they don't have any kind of interest in the property at all, so they don't want their name on anything, whatever the case may be. But then that's what the buyer needs to bring. What about the seller? What all does a seller need to bring to closing?
So on the seller side, again, valid ID is key because they're the ones actually selling the property. So we absolutely want to make sure that they are who they say they are. And typically they're getting money. So whether it be a check from us or a wire, if they're getting a wire, then we're going to have them fill out a wire directive or a wire authorization form that basically is going to allow us to wire the funds to them. So they'll need to come with wiring instructions from their bank, including the names as they appear on their account, routing numbers, account numbers, so that we can make sure that it gets to the right place. Also, unless there's a prenuptial agreement or other agreement in place allowing a free trade or another agreement in place, then they are going to need to bring their spouse as well if they're married. Anybody that holds title to the property will need to be present, and any spouses.
Especially in North Carolina,
especially
right?
in North Carolina.
Especially in North Carolina. So you guys, your state might be a little different depending on where you're looking at us, watching this from. But make sure that you kind of take the advice and have all of the documents that you need, the money, if you're going to be bringing some money to closing, have it wired or certified or whatever it is that's required by your closing attorney or title company, and your spouse. Oftentimes we're trying to do things with our spouse. Gotta take them, sorry. But Dale, as usual, we really do appreciate you educating our audience and helping us to see what it is necessary is to bring to closing.